Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome aboard to the last set of today, which is going to be Fate Esports versus Leviathan. If we look at the maps here, we have Leviathan choosing to ban out the Ascension Peak and pick Jaguar Falls for game number 1, while Fate Esports has picked Frozen Guard for game number 2 while banning Stone Keep. Let me hear your opinions on this, Riddick.
Firstly, let me say, Woofy, I missed you. It's been so long. Secondly, I'm so glad we get to see some Frozen Guard action here right now. It's a map we don't really see that often, especially at this level of play. To be honest, I'm getting a little bit tired of Jaguar Falls, so it's going to be really interesting to see the picks and bans that come out through that map specifically, because it's a different style of meta. It's a different play style. The push is so much longer. Yeah, the point capture itself is very similar to Bright Marsh in the way it's designed, but the push is just so long, and there's so many flank routes. So I'm expecting some fun flanks to be playing there. Maybe some fringe sniper picks if we get to that, but it's going to be really interesting.
Actually, you talk about how much you're tired of Jaguar Falls. Actually, the other caster that is going to join us for next week, TJ, is right now at EGX in Birmingham. So good luck to him. But for next week, he will be here. He has a deep loathing for Jaguar Falls, so he calls it the Jaguar freaking Falls. Trust me, yeah, he is definitely not happy about that. But let's actually look at game number 1's draft as we put it up here on the screen for all of y'all that are watching. And that sounded very American, I don't know. But yeah, Leviathan. Let's go through the bans. What do you think about the bans and picks on Leviathan?
Leviathan just went out and straight up banned the tanks, Khan and Torvald. So the two better frontliners in the game. Torvald just enables everyone.
That's Fate.
He's basically, Fate. No, yes. Leviathan banned out Torvald.
Leviathan banned Willow and Cassie.
Oh, my bad. Then sorry.
Yes.
Leviathan banned out Willow and Cassie. My bad. I'm reading things wrong here. Leviathan's banned out Willow and Cassie. They really want to get that blast damage off the board. As we've seen Cassie performances, they've been high across the board. And Willow's just outperformed as well. As we saw through the Ico plays, Willow was the linchpin that held that team together so very well throughout their pushes. And she's in such a great position right now in terms of blast potential. I am surprised that we didn't see a Bum King come through, but, you know,
it's
there
banned.
are other champions. A Bum King is banned from the tournament.
Yes,
oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen,
I mean, you are a caster in this league, and you should know the bans, you know.
Yeah, we didn't inform the viewers at home that we did have certain bans for the tournament, and Bum King is unfortunately one of them. Bum King is not allowed in this tournament at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So it is down to Willow and Druggers to pick up the slack for the Bastards, and Cassie sometimes, occasionally too. Maybe we'll see a Shrapnel Victor coming through later, but pretty standard bans, Willow and Cassie bans coming through for this map on the side of Leviathan.
On the side of Fate, we have the picks going through with Drogos, Leon, Furia, Ash, and Fernando, while they banned out Khan and Torvald because frontlines, they don't like them at all on the side of Fate. And I must say, this draft is definitely... It's actually the exact same composition as an earlier game with the Furia, Leon, Ash, Fernando, and Drogos. So it's very interesting to see it once again in the hands of another squad, which is Fate Esports. But we are actually going to take a short break before we will start with the game. But before we do, write in chat, everybody, who do you think will win? If you vote for Leviathan to win this game number 1, write #LEWin.
Woofy.
Yes.
1 second, just before you forget, man. On the side of Leviathan, you did forget to go through their picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we do happen to have a Inara pick coming through for Leviathan. Makoa Vivian. That's going to be really interesting to come through. Androxus and Maldama all on the side of Leviathan's champions for this match set. You make it.
Well, thank you for that, for getting a little bit ping pong back and forth. But I will repeat here: if you want if you think Leviathan will take this game number 1, write #LEWin, and if you think Fate will take this win, write #EaglesWin. We're going to take a short break and return to you with the game as we just sync up. Ladies, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome aboard to the last set, game number 1 in the Legacy League week number 1 between Fate Esports and Leviathan Esports. Let's go through to the rosters. On the side of Fate Esports, we have Slashwine playing the Combustible Drogos, Bloxer on the Death and Taxes Leon, Choppy Plum playing the Solar Blessing Furia, Andromius on the Fortress Breaker Ash, and finishing it up with Lentry on the Scourge Fernando.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Leviathan on the side. They have the Spurs chosen Maldam, heads will roll, and Droxus Separons Vivian, because there's so much shielding on the side of Fate Esports. Leviathan, Makoa, and Mother's Grace and Nora getting onto that point as we head into the first round. Take it away, Wolfie.
Well, we have Andromius on the point. He has definitely just said, yeah, the point is something we want to control, but he goes down to tired as the damage is too great for him to handle. But right now, it's just a bit back and forth between Leviathan and Fate as they're just trading blows. But Fate Esports is on the receiving end of pain here as Leviathan gains control.
As we immediately see that Vivian paying dividends right now, tired, using those separate rounds, taking out the tanks, deleting them very quickly, and that's where Vivian comes into play. She deletes shield and she's making use of that. Tired is playing so well right now.
With 90% on the payload clock, there's only a matter of seconds left before there is no help for the side of Fate Esports, and the overtime is ticking down. Slashwine really has to pull himself into the fray and push people off, but it won't happen. The objective is captured by Leviathan.
I love that, man. Lentry got onto point. He's like, fear not, I have a shield, and Tired was like, you say again? Come again? What shield? I see it.
What you say?
They pull it away. Leviathan putting out so much damage and so much pressure. Makoa and Anara already beating and bruising forward. While Tide's just hanging back in the back line, doing some damage, poking out, and Droxus gets popping off, making use of that damage plays, getting deep into the back line. He starts pushing it forward, and Leviathan, they're taking every single advantage that Fate gives them.
Well, they are definitely covered from all sides, but now Leviathan is actually being, as I call it, sandwiched from both sides. The Enlightenment activated by Bloxer, not really doing much. And Daltia together with Nauke are now moving on to get a hold on to Slashwine. Here we go, the beautiful accursed arm hit right on the nail on Slashwine, killing him in the process. Make it 2, make it 3, make it 4. 4 out of 5 of Fate have been demolished by Leviathan.
Beautiful, almost double. Basically, Noka on this Androx is doing so much. He's popping off right now on a 10 spree. Can't ignore the Vivian though. She's following up, doing that poke damage. Cheeky Vivian's fast, ladies and gentlemen. She believes she's a sniper. The ultimate's been popped though. His sensor drones in the air doing that damage when they can. No more shields for the side of Fate Esports. They're on the back foot right now. And you're right, Wolfie. Slashwine needs to start popping off and doing damage onto the right targets right now. Otherwise, not going to do it. Dragon Punch does come up. This could be a game changer, Wolfie.
It could be, but at the same time, you cannot sleep on the fact that like they've been popping off both Nauke and Tired. Both of them have really been pulling off. So if Leviathan doesn't push much more up than this, then I don't think it will help much. As you can see right here, Slashwine trying his best to do some combustible shots onto Nauke and actually connecting it with Bloxer finishing the shot with a nice auto shot.
I crack like a duck, playing the role of point tank, gets a beautiful hook on the Drogos, but he's up and away he goes, ladies and gentlemen. He is not sticking around for that. I crack making some pushes right now with the Inara shields up just long enough to keep it going. Leviathan are making this push happen, but Fate are holding strong. The Immortal is available if they need to stall, and Furious Inflame is there to back it up. Ultimate charge is looking good across the board. Leviathan almost has that accursed arm up again, and that could help with the push. Another hook from Makoa. And Leviathan are getting pushed back. Fate are holding strong.
Wow. Okay. Let me just say that when it comes to damage, Fate are doing it right. They always have it ready with the combination of the Liana and the Drogos. Some combustible shots followed by a lot of pain. And like, I love watching Slashwine on a Drogos, especially since right now he's sitting 2-2-2 and actually being the one that is the glue that keeps Fate together here for this defense.
Indeed. And I love the Death and Taxes Leon pick. It's so useful when you look at the economy of patterns, and people often forget how important economy is to the game. Itemization is key, but before that, having credits for that itemization is also key. And if you don't have to spend credits on Cauterize, as Leanne does not have to do, you can do so much else. You can go into your comfort fix. Like, Fernando's already got Master Riding too, so he can be more aggressive. He doesn't even need to worry about Cauterize as we chase into the second point with Inflame coming out.
Make that 3 kills for the side of a Fate, as the whole side of Leviathan has to retreat. Tyre dying as well. There's only Daljit left, and he's on the point all by himself.
Dude, that was so much incredible aggression coming out from Fate, immediately leading into the charges, starting to beat them back. Did you see that?
I saw everything with my 300 eyes, and Leviathan are right now on the receiving end of pain, but if they can get just one essential pick, they should be able to get back to the point. I Quack Like a Dog is going in, trying his best to move in with that shell shield of his, getting into the fray, getting a good hook onto the Slashwine Drogos, and that is it. They have retaken control by getting 4 out of 5 members of Fate.
That just feels like a massive tug of war. Pun intended for Dogos for the dredge anchor there, but that was Fate pushing on their side, immediate aggression, and Leviathan. They were like, okay, cool, let's take a step back. You just punched us in the face, and then they punched back, all as a team, and they just wiped the floor with Fate. That was incredibly well played from their side.
You know what? It reminded me a little bit of the change to Androx's punch. Like, Fate Esports made the old style punch, and then they went back with the remade punch from range. And with a Dragon Punch here, I Quack Like a Dog will go down just the same. And that is definitely not a good situation for the side of Leviathan. They are not in a good position here because the whole side of Fate is controlling the field.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think these teams are both very well matched against each other. Leviathan pushes, Fate pushes back, and they're pushing at equal grounds right now. Fate are holding strong. Beautiful hook from the Koa once again takes away, blocks it. Tired follows up with that kill. Dalgit just chilling, waiting to get back up. And this is the thing, Leviathan are being super patient with their aggression. Yeah, they're playing hardcore, they're being aggressive when they need to, but they take the moments, those brief seconds, those brief intervals, just to group up again and then go in with force.
Let's just agree that they are definitely not rushing things. They're waiting for their opportunities. And right now we see Andromius in the backline trying to get a hold onto I Quack Like a Duck. And Daljit very low right now. He is not in a good position because here's Andromius with the surprise party. Daljit going down just the same.
This is really, really cool. Quick kill onto Blocks, a hook into a punch, ladies and gentlemen. I Quack sends a croak message across the board. Blocks are going down all the way back to the base, but Lentry follows it up, destroys I Quack Like a Duck, and then Androminus destroying Androxus. Leviathan and Fate, I'm loving this battle between them. They have so much respect for each other. They're not pushing too hard. They're not like, it's not like, they're not taking risks against each other. They're playing smart. They're being careful. Even if you look at Andromeda's playstyle right now, she's not being aggressive, Ash. She's playing passively. She knows where she needs to be. She's holding a position and just doing damage. And the same with Inara. We're just watching her take these peak shots, doing some damage, waiting for that opportunity, biding their time. And it's impressive to see that from both sides.
With 5 seconds left on the payload push for Leviathan, it doesn't look to be their day to actually push the payload, but I can't be wrong, because right now Slashwine is in trouble, because he is in a situation where he can either help Lentry survive or let himself survive, and he chooses the other option. The latter option seems to be the most logical for him right there, but that does also mean that Leviathan can push the payload in overtime.
Beautiful point, Stenonara. Just hanging around the payload, triggering the overtime, and then all of a sudden, wham! Fate lose 4 members of the team, followed up shortly by a 5th, and have to regroup now. Leviathan have the advantage. They're waiting. Although Fate have faster respawns, they do have a home advantage themselves. Seismic Crash is available just to push this all the way through. Same with the Dread Servant. They do have these game-winning ults, but Malthumba goes down, destroyed by Slashwine, having those fun picks.
With the overtime still in effect, and with Daljit trying his best to keep himself alive, it's to no avail, as Fate Esports does, and not a great defense. Let's just be honest here. Fate Esports is a big wall while Leviathan is a tank. That's what those two are. They keep building a new wall on top of each other, and as well as they are applying ammo to this tank known as Leviathan. And if we look,
look at
the items. Look at the items. It's just they have the Cauterized 3 ready all over the place on Leviathan. Do you really think Fate will do anything against that with just a Furia by herself?
Well, if we look at it like Death and Taxes being a 90% Cauterized immediately, and then obviously followed up shortly by Andromedas is also Cauterized 3, they do have their Rekka right now, and their Rekka can counter out the Makoa. I don't know why they're going so heavily into it, but it's really interesting to see that across the board as we go into it. But it goes back to the old argument of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and we're seeing that right now. Unstoppable force incoming, and the Dragon Punch doesn't find anyone, gets shut down by Makoa. Not today.
With all of this pressure happening into the backline, it is just a matter of seconds before Fate Esports has to reposition themselves, and that is already now because there is so little time left on the payload, on the point, as we just had Dalgis sitting on it for the entire duration without contest.
Chubby Plum made quite a bit of a misplay there. He was being way too aggressive, trying to push on the Makoa of all people, and that caused him to just straight up get deleted. And that allowed Leviathan to push them back. Fate don't have the healer, they don't have the sustain, and Leviathan just pushed in and took that advantage. That was a heavy misplay from Chubby Plum. But as we see, the defense is holding strong. Drogo's on 5 health, all the way back up to 2400 in an instant, and they're keeping this defense. I think this is gonna go 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, what else could be said about it when we've seen it 2 times happen the same way? It might actually just be a 3-3, which is the tightest set we've had so far in this week's matchups. So these two teams are definitely on the same level, both mentally and skill-wise. Right now, Dalgis going into the heavy backline of Fate, not really caring too much about the damage, but Slashwine answers by getting a hold onto him with a Dragon Punch.
And that's the difficulty with the Dragon Punch thing. It's kind of a very big risk reward scenario. Yeah, you can get the pick, but you need to make sure that you're not getting picked up immediately, and that happened right there. iCrack was there. He picked off Drogas as soon as the Dragon Punch went. It was a 1-for-1 trade. Sure, the Inara's gone, but so is your main damage dealer. And you gotta understand who's the more valuable pick at this point in time.
Rail. In this case, I would agree with you. That's definitely the damage dealers you need to have alive at this point when you're on a defense. But they're still getting pressured by Nauke into the backline. But he doesn't really care about that Slashwine and just get that kill onto the fray.
Drogo showed his tail there for just a split second too long, and Makoa capitalized on that immediately. Getting some beautiful hooks in there. iCrack making sure he's hitting his mark. The Dredge action not going anywhere. Inflame comes out. Is it enough to stop it? Assert dominance. It might be. They might hold this off again, and it could go into 3-3. It's looking like it, but there's still 30 seconds on the objective, and the Cursed Arm's just been popped.
And look at this, his pressure is so well organized. He went with the reversal as soon as he needed to, and right now Bloxer is going down. That's a double kill for the Godslayer. Chubby Plum going down as well, and even though the Immortal has been activated, there's still 10 seconds left, and the whole side of Leviathan is back at it again.
I gotta say, Tired is on a 23 streak, and that's what's gonna lead the Leviathan to victory there. That incredible play, that sleeper play. We didn't even pay attention to Tired, but he was doing so much damage. 23 kills and no deaths for that. That is nuts. Tired needed to be shut down, and Fate wasn't able to do that. GG's.
Jay, what do you have to say to your team in this very case?
There's a big thing called Inara. She sits on a point. Kill her. Really?
Just kill her.
So you're in a. So let me just get this right. So what I watched, and what I'm pretty sure all 100 people out there watched as well, is you went in the line, killed everybody, then took your time getting to the Inara. By this time, Leviathan had respawned, and you still hadn't touched Inara, and she was still on the point.
Yeah.
I like that in Nara's playstyle as well. It's a rock monster. It doesn't need healing.
Not with Mother's Grace, no.
Oh, just super comfortable, just chilling there like, I've got damage reduction, I'll be fine.
I just don't understand that. So I'm just going to point this out. This is to everybody. Everybody in the realm. Everybody, any person, anything that plays Paladins, okay? If you're going up against an Inara and you're trying to kill everything around her, then focus her, guess what? That doesn't work anymore. Why? She has too much sustain, and if one of your team gets picked, guess what? It's called the basic mathematics. It's a number advantage in their favor.
It's the
You
quick
cannot
maths.
beat it.
I will say that GGJ, you're very, very right on that. If you can still wipe your team, say you get like a quad, and Inara's the only person remaining, she can still survive in long enough on the point for her entire team to regroup. And that's why you need that coordination, just delete her. She is the tankiest tank in the realm at the moment. And that's a dangerous thing to go up against.
Yeah, I just feel right now you can't allow Inara just to sit on point. You have to apply pressure. If there's an Inara, I want to see a Tyra. Tyra, fireball, mark fireball, mark fireball, mark fireball. Make it difficult for them to cap, okay? You can't be that aggressive team that just goes, right, we're going to go on and we're going to go crazy into their backline, blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. Guess what? It doesn't matter. They're going to think, and they've always got retake position on you. There's no way out of it.
That's
Literally,
true.
absolutely, there's zero ways out of it. You kill them. Okay, guess what? Nara's still sitting on the point. She's capped up to 80%. As you just saw, you kill her. Guess what? The rest of the team's coming back. And by this time, you've already lost some people as well. Right,
yeah,
guys?
That's something we see so very much. Is like Inara's just getting onto point, chilling there, and then 70% later, you realize, oh my god, there's a pebble on the point. We need to remove it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's something as well. You always see it, don't you? It's always 70 to 80%. It's never like, oh, they've got 30%. Oh, you know, they can always come back. No, it's not. It's always 60, 70, 80.
Yeah.
It's not a high percentage. You cannot allow Inara's just to keep capping. If you continue to do it, you don't have it. It's just not going to work.
You're not going to win it.
Yeah. Anyway, right, ladies and gents, that's it. We're going on to game number 2. I'm going to hand it back over to Wuffy and Ridiculous Average. We'll be back momentarily.